Hey Uplifters, if you're new here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, hey Uplifters. So let's talk about sexual abuse and homeless shelters. I've talked about homelessness and how that can play a part, how sexual abuse can play a part in being homeless. I've talked about that maybe a while back. I'll leave that video in the description box so you guys can watch that video. But let's get into the homeless shelters. Like, I don't know why. A lot of us, I don't know why, knowing that I know about sexual abuse and how no one really can be trusted and stuff like that. I really never thought about how homeless shelters can really be dangerous for, I feel like, anyone but the more vulnerable people. And that could be children, especially children. And of course, there's more statistics on females than anything. So in females, I feel like a lot of times when it comes down to any type of sexual abuse, any type of harassment, males don't report it because they're ashamed and people don't believe them because it's like they're a man and they should know how to defend themselves, and the shame and the guilt comes into play when a male thinks about reporting sexual abuse or sexual harassment. So I'm not saying that, I'm not taking away from women, but I feel like men have it not harder, but I feel like sexual abuse amongst men, sexual abuse with men is more, what's the word that I'm going to use? More foreign or taboo. But I've done videos about that where the double standards come into play. So you guys got to just check out my awareness playlist and you can see all the videos that I have in my perspective of things. So let's talk about homeless shelters. I came across the article that I really want to piggyback off of and put my intake in it. So when you think about homeless shelters, the person's already homeless. The person is already going through a hard time, not being stable, not having their own shelter. And they go thinking that they would be somewhat safe in a sheltered place, away from the bad environments, the heat, the snow, cold weather. They think they're going to be safe, and a lot of times they're not. Either people are victims. I'm not going to say like male or female. Victims are harassed or they're actually abused amongst the staff and amongst other homeless people. And I know that having a homeless shelter is a very good thing, but I've always been kind of not okay with the fact that a lot of homeless shelters have men and women and kids in one. I'm not saying, I feel like that's not okay because you don't know who are walking in these doors, and you don't know who are, I mean, a lot of times people do background checks, but you don't really know people, and you don't know who really works for homeless shelters. So that's how, I don't want to say too much because like I don't know, I've never experienced it. I just go off base what I've seen or what I did research on. So, but of course I have my handy dandy notes. I feel like we're oblivious to things going on, or homeless people are given like scraps and they're looked down at because they're homeless and all that stuff. So they go through a lot, and we don't really take the time to like put ourselves in their shoes or to get to know the person besides them being homeless. So some staff, we're talking about the staff here, but me, I look at it as anybody could be a predator and anybody could be a victim. Staff members sometimes sexually harass, exploit, or assault shelter residents. And I feel like this really opened my eyes, the article that I read, and I can leave the link, and it's a short little article, but I mean, I feel like doing research has really helped me open my eyes and to be more aware of different forms of abuse and different things that go on in this world that we don't really hear much about. Some staff can be very vocal in the residents' appearances and making them uncomfortable with the things that they say, wanting to take them out on dates or wanting them to do sexual things with them for more privileges. So I'm gonna just go through a list of things that I took note of. I don't know why this is so cringy to me, and even though I talk about this is what my channel is about. I'm an advocate. I bring awareness. This is still hard to actually think that the people that we least expect can do harm to anyone. So unwelcome or unwanted comments, speaking on the person's appearance, or uncomfortable conversations. That can go from, oh, you look good, or, oh, you have a nice, but you have anything along the lines, or you're handsome, or you're anything that can make someone uncomfortable. And we can't dictate what makes someone uncomfortable, because we don't know what they've already been through, and we just don't know their comfortability level. Leering or suggestive gesturing. Exposing themselves, asking to hook up or a date, soliciting sex, asking residents to trade sex for privileges, sexual assault, touching, groping, forcing or pressuring into any type of sex. Retaliation against residents that refuse. That's just a little bit about what goes on in shelters, or what can go on in shelters. That's a little something of what can go on in shelters. And I just want people to open their minds to different forms. And I don't want to be the one to be like, oh, no one can be trusted, but at the same time, no one really can be trusted. People can act like they're being nice to you, and it could be a form of grooming. At the same time, they could want you to, they're super nice to just you, and you're thinking that they're just being nice. But some people can want something more from you, and that's the way that they want to get it, by being nice and making victims vulnerable. And that's how things like this can happen. Being homeless is bad in itself, but seeking help and wanting help, and you going into a shelter, and the people that are supposed to help you could be the main ones that harm you. And I just want to open our minds to that. So I found some statistics on how is your homelessness and sexual violence statistics. So I just want to go through a few of these. Sexual violence most often occurs at/near home. More than 50% of all rape/sexual assault incidents were reported by victims to have occurred within 1 mile of their home or at their home. Runaway homeless youth. 61% of girls and 16% of boys report sexual abuse at home as reason for running away. According to the National Runaway Switchboard, about 40% of the 1.7 million runaway and homeless youth identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer nationally. Runaway homeless youth at risk for sexual exploitation. 1 in 3 teens will be recruited by a pimp within 48 hours of leaving home. Homelessness and sexual violence among adults. Lifetime risk for violent victimization for homeless women with mental illness is 97%, making sexual violence a normative experience for this population. According to a study of homeless and marginally housed people, 32% of women, 27% of men, and 38% of transgendered persons reported either physical or sexual victimization in the previous year. Homelessness, sexual violence, and prostitution. In a study of 325 women in prostitution, 50% reported history of child sexual abuse. 45% were homeless. Most were staying at shelters, homes of other individuals, or on the streets. Sexual violence by landlords. 38% of respondents to a national survey reported receiving reports of landlord sexual assault. In these cases, 79% of women reported that their landlords refused to repair, lock, supply heat, hot water, or make the space safe. Landlords also sexual propositions, stalked tenants, and or engaged in unwanted sexual conduct with the tenants before committing sexual assaults. I just wanted to put that out there because I feel like we have to open our eyes to what people go through on a daily basis, just period, but what people go through that are homeless. I mean, some of us look at them in disgust, like they don't mean nothing and that they are not people with feelings. I want you to think about if it was you, if it was somebody that you love, that was on the streets and that have been victims of sexual violence. So, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.